y'all, I'm Ellen. We've been super inspired by our journeys of self-healing and discovery.
And I'm Sam, and we want to share our experiences with you to help you get curious about yourself, reconnect, and get intentional about your life so you know what makes you happy.
Welcome to Woo New, the podcast.
Today is going to be a really special interview. We are here with Alexis Buck, who is the author of the Ascension Diaries, and she is also a tarot reader, and she channels messages from should I say spirit guides? Is that who you connect with?
With my readings, I like to just go directly to source.
Okay.
And then sometimes if I'm feeling it, I'll work with the concept of the higher self as well. Or if you want to connect with a passed on loved one, we can, direct our energy to them. Or some people like to talk to their star families or guides that they have become aware of and they know their name or something. And it's fun. You can talk to whoever, but usually I just work with like the source energy of everything, basically.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. So was it 2 weeks ago, Al, or a week ago? We time is just all running together now.
It was actually just a week ago.
Oh my God, it was last week.
It was last Monday, a week exactly.
As you know, we interviewed Drea with Conscious Mother, and she was the one who connected us with you, and we love her so much, and she has so many incredible things to say about you. So maybe we can just start off by learning a little bit about how the two of you met and a little bit more about your healing practice and how you know each other.
So Dre and I'm pretty sure we met through Instagram, and she followed my blog Ascension Diaries on Instagram because she liked my posts about the Schumann resonance and as well as solar activity and astrology sometimes and tarot sometimes and other random messages and videos that I channel or diary, as I like to say. So I just got lucky that she found me, and then we became quick friends just through conversation through Instagram, which has been great. Social media has been such a friend to me, and I'm grateful for that. And I got to receive her. She offered me to lay on her crystal healing bed at her home.
Nice.
We were near the area because I was currently living in a van with my now husband. We were living there in a van for a year, traveling around and basically meeting a bunch of people like us. Excuse me. And whatever they wanted to share, we shared with each other, and it was super fun. And yeah, I got to lay under her crystal bed and have basically this whole healing experience. And it felt very strongly Pleiadian even, and very, very rare. It felt like a very rare experience, a very special time. I know that it was one of those times, very big times of astrological importance, like a solstice or something that we were there, and felt very special. And I got a good healing, and it took me a few weeks even to kind of work through what was brought up through that experience that I had, which was not even that long on this crystal bed with this lights and vibration and sound. And it was really, really effective.
That's so cool.
I know. We both had a healing session with Drea through Zoom. And so, and we see the crystal bed behind her, and obviously it works on the quantum level. So it still works, but I really long for the day I can go up to Arrowhead and just lay on that bed.
That must have been so incredible to lay on the bed. I can't wait to try it.
It was next level, and she let both me and my husband go, and she held space for us, and we had tea, and we had a great chat, and it was magical. We had a really great visit. So since then we've seen her randomly a couple more times even. So I know we're meant to be in each other's lives, and I'm really proud of the new place that she moved her family to and what she's doing with her business now. And I'm excited.
Oh yeah. Awesome. It's so amazing.
Can I actually ask, how did you, well, first of all, for those people who haven't listened to the episode before this one, because we're going to launch this on Wednesday, we talked a lot about the Schumann resonance with Drea, but maybe it would be helpful to even have you articulate what that is and how you even got into it.
I'd love to. That's really something I have a great passion for, and why I seem to be able to be writing this blog about it for like 5 years now. It's almost like 5 years. And it's such a funny scientific topic.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
became I
I
became
have
aware
become
of it.
recently, like, sorry to interrupt. I have to tell you, I have become obsessed with your content about it because it's helped me understand so much about the things that I'm just personally feeling. And I
Yeah.
also check the Schumann bot now like 10 times a day because I'm like, is it
Nice.
happening again? Is it happening again?
Yes, yes. And I found it was the same way when I began, but again, there wasn't the community around it yet. And it was such a calling to be like, wow, this is a space that definitely needs to be filled, and I feel ready to just bring this conversation to so many people, because it's very important in my opinion. It's almost like learning about weather, or learning about the rain, or learning about the wind for the first time. In my opinion, it was like that. And I went into psychology as an education. I finished the degree, even though I hated it the whole time. It was so funny. My mom's like, you just got to get through it. I'm like, oh man, I don't know what this is worth, but I did learn something. And I learned so much about psychology. And I also learned how much that they were not going to tell us about what they could do, and what the experiments they've done on people, and what they're currently doing to manipulate people's psychology, basically, consistently, almost in every single thing that they do, with the media and so on, with society. And I learned about a term called the environmental factors, which is a major part of how our DNA and how our behaviors express. And one environmental factor is technically the Schumann resonance, which is a frequency in a high layer of our atmosphere called the ionosphere. It's almost like a plasma layer. It's one of the first layers that anything from space also comes towards Earth and is experienced by our atmosphere. So it's a pretty important spot. It's also important because of the size of it. It creates wavelengths and vibrations. A song, actually, its own scale, even of multiple notes.
Wow.
That are constantly tickled by space, and as well as our own brainwaves, because those notes are in range of our own brainwaves of mammalian brains, basically, is what I understand it. And I learned about this from a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza, who he teaches people how to learn their own brainwaves and then also manage their brainwaves, because unconsciously our brainwaves are constantly being manipulated by psychology theories. Like they've learned how to manipulate our brainwaves pretty simply, and they did that with the TV and the radio, and it's already happened. It's a long, long time ago. And now learning about this environmental factor, the Schumann resonance, I was like shocked, because again, it could influence your brainwaves. And how did I go through this whole education, like so many books, and never saw this term, not once? And it was so appalling to me. And I honestly felt like I was so mad. And this Aries, I have this strong Aries energy in my, like, I got this fire, and I was like, this is not fair. I'm a Libra too. I'm like, this needs to be fair. I'm an Aquarius too. And it was like, this is like esoteric. This is the secrets that need to be heard. And I'm here for the people. And I knew I had to talk about it and also research it for myself. And I followed it. I began watching the charts that are provided by a random Russian website. I've tried to contact them. I don't know. I've been promoting their site for years, and it's so funny. It's this very strange relationship with this scientific source they have free on the internet from a Russian place. And I followed it. And every time I was having intense emotional or psychologically imbalanced days, I would check the Schumann resonance. And oftentimes there was very, very close correlation down to the hour, when I was having episodes of anxiety or depression or mania or suicidal thoughts, like all of these things. And it seemed like things were only amplifying. And I learned that, yes, the Schumann resonance is being observed to be amplifying more and more often than ever before, like at least from people who'd maybe watched it before I did. And it was not a huge crowd. And yeah, we were watching it, and they're trying to say the frequencies are rising, but I understood that it's actually amplitude that's rising for the most part. The frequencies stay pretty constant because of the shape of the ionosphere. It's not really going to change because our planet's not really going to change size. That's what I've learned.
That
And
was
so
that Sorry
That
to
help?
interrupt.
Does
Yeah,
that
that
help?
one piece is incredibly helpful because every time I look at the graph, I'm like, okay, I know that these are like 5D energies that we're basically getting blasted with in these spikes. But every time I look at the frequency graph, it's like the numbers are fairly
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah. It's funny, and they even sometimes will go lower than average just slightly when the amplitude really spikes like that. And lately, I've noticed that more and more, which is bizarre because that seems like there has been a change. Because when the spikes used to come in, the 7.83 average would go up to an 8.8. And that's the highest I ever saw it go, and a difference from the average or the mean of what that first frequency, the primary frequency, is supposed to chill at, which is like an alpha brainwave state for us. So,
Oh. So what does it mean when the amplitude is actually the thing that's spiking?
well, in my opinion, there's an introduction of energy to the ionosphere, and it's making the ionosphere vibrate more. So those sounds are getting louder, but the whole cavity seems to be vibrating more. And that's why I began watching space weather, basically like the solar weather, because that's one of the hugest, closest sources of constant expressions of plasma and electrons and ions and all that stuff. And I'm like, this is the ions are getting electrified at random times, but now we've seen that it's not so random. And that's when we begin to look now earthbound and go, well, there's technologies like HARP and so on that actually radiate the ionosphere and disturb it in a way so they can get a signal to their satellites and do other things. But they can also heat it up over an entire country and actually cause people's brainwaves to go all funky because our brainwaves are connected to that space. If they electrocute or they heat up and excite that space, it can cause our minds to be unstable. And so it's like a big weapon as well, possibly. So to see that
Whoa.
there's scheduled times, it makes me go, okay, there's a reason I'm watching this, and it's even more of a protection of humanity because there's something going on. And now there's also people coming through who are channeling higher dimensional beings and information, which I also have, that there's also something going on with the ionosphere, possibly from other sources that are more intelligent, more experienced, and more benevolent. And it's some type of experiment that's going on that is manipulating us in a way to be more harmonic and to clear our traumas and to reconnect our neurons and to activate our DNA. And I've heard it all. And I totally believe that this is a very complex situation. And that's why I love talking about it because so many people get more information just from their own intuition. And I think every single piece of the information counts.
Wow. So it sounds like it's happening on both sides. So it's something outside of us, but it also sounds like what you're saying is a lot of the fluctuations have been happening by us humans as well, like things that are happening that we are just unaware of.
Yes, there's definitely a layer of the warfare, in my opinion, that is
Mhm.
happening in that space. But also, there's something even more intelligent than basic human warfare. And
Mm.
I think it's like a genetic and ascension related thing, too, because I think if you think about potential that the sun is going to let off a giant flare
Mhm.
and it's going to fry us or something, which a lot of people think might happen. And I used to think it too. I used to invite it. I was so excited because the world was such a mess and I didn't relate to it at all. But now I'm like, okay, there's more going on here. What is this stuff? And I've learned that it's more of a communication. There's more of like a normal, natural communication between all the forces of nature. And like the sun is a major part of that. Our planet is. And we're supposed to be able to flow through the changes and the ebb and flow of like the solar system and the galaxy and all this stuff that's happening on a way bigger scale. And I think on a huge scale, there's also that stuff going on right now at a heightened pace, a heightened rate.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I'm more even watching that part of the game, so less than the human warfare side of it. It's more like, what is the galactic changes going on and how is it actually affecting us? And then seeing what also the humans are doing to mitigate that and hide that information has been very interesting.
God, this is fascinating.
It's
I
really
know.
interesting that you just mentioned that, actually, because so this woman, Amy Sikarsky, that we interviewed earlier this year, who is also an energy healer, and she's the teacher of one of these, a course that I'm taking. She does these videos where she channels, and she has a YouTube channel where she posts them. And yesterday I was watching a video where she was channeling, and it was, her star team, I believe, her, and then, but she started channeling Pleiadians and Lyrians. Is that how you say it?
Lemurians.
Lemurians. And one, she, they came through at different times, but both of them, in essence, were talking about how there is an existence of these alternate dimensions on Earth that people who live in this like 3D reality don't see, but we are getting assistance right now during these huge spikes of energy that we're all feeling on, and that the Schumann resonance is showing, that is helping to alter our DNA so that more people on Earth can live in this 3D reality, but also see and communicate with alternate spirit beings, or travel through alternate dimensions. And that they're essentially, like, we've all been feeling this so heavily because during these huge spikes we're getting support from all of these other
Yes.
communities and they're essentially like holding our hands and walking us through the process so that we can get to this place ultimately where more people on Earth can live in that space. And ultimately it's almost like become the majority to create this change of peace on Earth. And and the word experiment keeps coming up over and over again. And I keep hearing that, and I'm like, it's crazy to think that we're an experiment.
Is it though?
I know. The more I get into this stuff, the more I'm like, okay, nothing seems crazy anymore.
And we're doing it to ourselves too, which is the giant irony, in my opinion. Like, you get to that point where you're like, well, if this is all one, then I'm just doodling this to myself to learn something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gets super complicated, and then it gets super simple, and then you're like, oh, that's boring. And then you go back to complicated.
Yeah. And you've been watching this for such a long time. I'd love to hear more about like how you understand these sort of like individual ascensions and how they relate to this sort of collective ascension that the world is experiencing right now.
Well, I just also want to say what you mentioned really, really made an impact on me, and the way that you worded that, because it makes incredible sense. And it's like a consciousness thing. You're at a certain brainwave, you can only experience so much. And then these things help your brainwaves expand to like theta state and other things. And you're like, or gamma, sorry, I should say gamma. And like, when you're in gamma, you're having a whole other thing. So I like the way that you said that. It is like a bridge, and it's like this uncomfortable process. And I think it's uncomfortable, and that's why it's also an experiment, because the discomfort that we're having is unique, in my opinion. And the way that we're experiencing these waves of energy and this shift we're going through to be able to be more multidimensional, it's more awkward and more beautiful than I think has been seen before. So it's a big participatory like experience in the universe right now. And I'm part of it. I'm helping. I'm opening the space for people to talk about the symptoms they experience. And that's what I thought was important. That's why I thought I went into therapy, was because I learned how to open up space for other people to heal and to be aware of their experience more, so they can participate more in it, really, instead of be more passive and unconscious. Like, ooh, I had an angry day today, and you don't think anything of it. But some people now, they go, I'm feeling angry. And then they don't immediately assume it's them. They go, what is going on? And that's when I think it expands into collective conscious awareness and planetary awareness. And that's kind of been my goal, is to like learn deeper about yourself, and also learn that you're a part of a big thing and an even bigger thing. And those disruptions in those playing fields also will affect you. but you're learning they affect you, and you can learn that you can affect them too. And
Mm.
that's when the empowerment comes in. It's like, oh, I'm feeling this and I don't like this. So I'm going to do something now to try and change that. And that's our like conscious decisions to ascend and change and be more comfortable with our own empowerment and become more sovereign as well, and become, like I say, and my website is divine sovereign beings. And we're all these beings and we all have these experiences, and all of our information is important. And I think sharing it in a group and on our pages and stuff is really important, because it's so activating and it helps people become and realize their divinity, and that they're playing a part, a back and forth part with their environment and their reality and their emotions and their thoughts. And instead of being more of the unconscious like victim who is confused. And I think that's the area that we're dissolving. And more bigger and bigger, more intense catalysts, I think, are going to happen to the collective for people to get uncomfortable to the point where they want to actually do something to change. And like it actually triggers their survival instincts even to like make changes so they can keep up with the evolution that's happening on a planetary level.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's so, I mean, I love the timing of this interview and this conversation we're having, because I literally just got back from an overnight girls retreat, just like with my closest girlfriends. And, you know, we're experiencing so many different things on a personal level. And it's really the first time we started actually talking on a bigger level, and not just the things that are happening to our world, but things like the Schumann resonance, like, you know, perhaps the things that we're feeling and experiencing on a physical level, and the events that are happening in our lives are not just, you know, because we created some action that is now having a reaction. You know, there's something much bigger at work. And just even lifting out of the myopia of like our personal lives, and even the myopia of the you know, just the on the world stage, to something much greater. I don't know, it just gives you such bigger perspective. Not that you have the answers, but, you know, suddenly you're looking at all these other things that could be contributing to it. And I'm actually curious, like, what are some of the symptoms that you have been finding that people are experiencing with these spikes, and sort of like as they're ascending?
I would say the biggest one is insomnia. And we've been having this interesting pattern where the Schumann resonance will spike for multiple hours in the 0 to about 30 or hertz range. So that's like dead person to about pretty mentally active person.
A dead
And
person
so
is 0. That's like no brain activity, right?
right.
Okay.
So it usually like hovers just above 0, but for the most part, it's kind of funny that the Schumann also goes almost in the 0 range. It's like very, very low to
Well,
30
I actually heard that, I just
or
recently
40.
learned this, that like there's certain Tibetan monks that can actually achieve, like, gamma is super, super high, you know, like high
Yeah.
frequencies, but there's also some that can go all the way down to 0, where it is almost like a brain dead state, but it is that it's kind of almost, it's like gamma again. It's like the same level of like, you can still transcend in that space as well, if I understand it
It's
correctly.
like
It's really
dissolving.
bizarre. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, "Oh my God, it's crazy how it loops together or connects like that, you know, either super low or super high." But I found that really interesting.
And I honestly have been thinking about that a lot lately, and I'm really glad you said that, because the excitement, and it goes past 40 hertz, this chart, which is where they say gamma range is. But also, like I said, the really, really low, like you said, really, really low is also really desirable state of consciousness. And that's
Mm.
also where we kind of tend to go. I find when we're sleeping, we also get closer to that quiet place. And I've noticed that we've been having almost the exact same throughout the night in North America, from about like 1 a.m. to about 5 a.m. There's been most consistent blasts during that time since I've been doing this. And it's weird to me, because sometimes I'm like, okay, if we need all this extra influence when we're sleeping, maybe it's so we can hit gamma when we're dreaming and you can expand your consciousness in that way. But also, people a lot of the time are also up through those times because they can't sleep because there's too much going on. And I feel for my audience and friends who are insomniacs because this is like a constant thing that they know when they see the Schumann going off, they know they're not going to sleep that night. And I think that it's not fair in a way for them too, because there's clearly something going on. They obviously chose it on a soul level, but it's to me, it's very bizarre why they consistently do it right when, half the world's trying to sleep
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's really interesting too, because as I've been following it more, I've seen that I'll have nights for sure where it spikes and I'm up and down all night. But I also have nights where it will spike and it's like I'll wake up and I slept so hard that like my arm is numb from me sleeping in the same position all night. And but then I wake up in the morning and it's like my whole body, somebody just took out my insides and refilled my skin with brick or sand. And it's like my whole body is so heavy and I'm so exhausted. Like it wasn't like a peaceful sleep, even though it was so, so deep.
I totally know what you mean. And I think that's been the most fascinating part about this study on my end. And in my opinion, has been listening to all of the people's experiences because there is a general range of them, but they vary every single wave, every single amplitude blast that we get. I get this different answers, but there is like a trend. So like this wave, more people were nauseous and dizzy. This wave, people had incredible dreams. This wave, people woke up, they felt like they were filled with sand. Those definitely happen. This wave, everyone was having love revelations and were really, really energetic and did all their chores that day. And they vary. Like some are really, really awesome and some are more awkward and more painful. But it seems like we have a decent variety of experiences. So that's why it hasn't gotten boring and why I think the community continues talking because the symptoms are often out of left field. Like most people don't know why they're having these symptoms at all. And so they start to medicate against something or think they're sick and go to the doctor. And the doctor doesn't really know about the Schumann resonance, but that's the next step. That's what I'm hoping that really will start to break through into the actual medical field.
Man, that is incredible. That's exactly, those are the conversations we're having. And even Sam and I were talking before, I have a tendency to go towards like, if I'm feeling off, okay, either I didn't eat well or I didn't sleep well or something's off with me physically because of something I did,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm now just even the last couple of weeks starting to open my eyes and see the much bigger thing that's happening, and the possibilities out there that are affecting me in this way. And it's incredible. I mean, I just feel like on one hand, not scared, but just kind of like, like a little trepidation, like what's going to happen next, but I don't know. I feel like there's something really exciting about all of this activity right now.
Yeah. And I think having this conversation is also so important because, and this is probably why I've been resonating with it so much too, is that this has been going on all year. And it's like up until I started to learn about this stuff, which was very, very recently, like Ellen said, I was like, okay, did I not eat right yesterday? Did I just sleep poorly last night? Like, what's going on with me internally? But it was almost like as soon as I started learning about this other stuff, it was almost like I was able to sort of let go and process and just like be kinder to myself and not so hard on my body and just not feeling so down on like, why, you shouldn't be feeling this way or, just push through the muscle aches. You can, like this is, if you don't like beat it down, it's just going to continue. But really it's like, we just need to let it happen and surrender to it. And it's like, it just was so nice to feel like I could be kinder to myself in a way that allows me to just sort of flow through this more with less friction.
I want nothing more for everyone. Seriously, it's such an incredible moment of release. And I think it's a very healing thing. And it's a funny too, because we get excited about really taking care of ourselves and getting gung ho and increasing our energy and moving, doing, serving humanity, whatever it is. But I've noticed more than anything, this energy. And when you become like you guys have recently become aware of it, it's an initiation to a certain next level of healing. And I find that the major theme of that is a lot of laying down and
Yeah.
a lot of rest. And it frustrates me too. And I wish I could be doing more with my life. I wish I could be doing more with my energy and effort, but I had to let that go too, because it was just like, that's not what this is about right now. That'll come. But right now I need to
Yeah.
rest. And
Oh
my
my
husband's
gosh.
been really good for that. He's like, don't worry about anything. You were totally provided for.
That's so
And
sweet.
Wow.
he gets it. Like, he's a natural. He's the best rester. And he's like, I don't need to work. I don't need to be a slave for anybody. Like, I'm going through the ascension. We got this. Like, it's everything's cool. And I'm like stressed all the time, it seems like. And he's just been teaching me so much on, like, you just have to let go. You have to have faith that you're accessing a new level of the game, and there is more going on, and you're being looked after to be like, to activate and heal and activate and heal and activate and heal. And then one day you're going to jump out of bed and you're going to be the president again. Like, it feels like it's going to be
Yeah.
that serious. Like, we're resting now because there's something coming for us. And in the meantime, the world's going to kind of really fall down and have to get back up again, which I think we're watching. And it's been a huge revelation. When I saw that, I was like, this is an ascension wave. Like, the coronavirus, to me, it was like, this is a huge DNA energy shift, complete like system shut down. It's never going to be like this again. This is it. And I was so surprised and excited. And then the emotions of the collective hit me, and it was just like, there everyone was terrified and depressed and scared and subdued and curled into themselves, like really into their shells of protection, which was, it was hard, but it wasn't to the degree and severity I thought it could go. It actually did much better than I thought. So it was actually smoother than I thought it was going to go, and
Yeah.
it's getting better.
When we were feeling that really heavy too. And I
Mhm.
think we do these full moon, new moon healing events, virtual healing events, where this incredible woman that and friend of ours, Nina, does an Akashic Records reading, and then Ellen leads a breathwork session, and I send distance Reiki while people are breathing. And I think that, what was it, Elle? Like the second session
Mhm.
was so heavy. It was like,
First and second. Yeah, the
yeah,
first 2 were just like, I like, to the point where I'm like, "I don't know if we can do this twice a month."
I know.
I
I
think
was
we can only
thinking
do this
the same
once a
thing.
month.
It took me like a whole week to recover from that second one. And then, but it was like, the sessions since then that we've done have been so beautiful. And like, everybody's coming together and everybody's really just like elevating to hold space for each other to like rise
Mhm.
together through this.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to see that, and to see it happen so much more quickly than I anticipated, because I was like, oh shit, we are in for like another 4 months of this.
Same.
But people really started to like own this process of just letting go and clearing and like learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of surrender, right? And I think on our end too, we had to learn how to better protect our energy
Mm.
and become much more conscious of, you know, what we're dealing with, because I think we're both at, you know, kind of the beginning points of our whole journey as light workers and healers. And I feel like part of that education process was, you know, you want to do so much and you're so eager to share and give and be in service, and then you forget that you're not impervious to everything that's
Yeah.
happening. I got smacked down hard like a couple of weeks
Yep.
ago, you
Yeah.
know? And so learning how to protect ourselves and going through it has been, you know, a lifesaver, quite literally. But, you know, I'm so glad that you guys are talking about surrender, because those were literally the cards I pulled for my breathwork class just this past Saturday. It was all about surrender. It was literally just let go and just allow these things to happen and know that you're going to be fine going through it, you know, and that
Yeah.
you will be carried to a better place.
And actually, Alexis, something you just said, gave me sort of like this little aha moment that I'm like, duh, I should have seen this coming because it's so obvious. But it's like all of us who are going through this ascension process, to your point, are being forced to rest and not be productive right now. And it's almost like it's because we're in this game for the long haul, you know, and
Yeah.
there are going to be so many ebbs and flows. And like, as people who are, you know, holding these high vibration frequencies all around the world, like we need the rest right now, because not only are we ascending ourselves, but because in order for us to sort of like do this in the long term and sort of make these, you know, huge global shifts happen together, like we have to be
Yeah.
able to come together in 6 months and do that. And we can't if everybody's burned out and just, you know, crying on the floor. But like there's a lot of that right now too. And it's like just being okay with that and knowing that it's like part of the process, but that as light workers, it's almost like this is our calm before the storm, as crazy as that sounds.
Mm.
Yes, and I agree with all you were saying, and also I think I need to be in that breathwork class or just do that after this because I've been really feeling that too. Like you need to surrender, and I put the same pressure on myself. And you're right, it is more of a this is more of a jog, and this is more of a walk, or even a like we're being pulled in a wagon. It seems like sometimes, and I got the Queen of Pentacles recently, which made me think is a good symbol for kind of what we do. And it's like the queen is the one that works pretty steadily for a long period of time, and she will get her wealth and her kingdom, and it's only just going to steadily grow because that's how she's just so committed to it. And she just continues. And it's about the commitment, in my opinion. And it's instead of just being like, oh, if I can't do it the way I want it, I give up on it. Like, no, it's just
Mhm.
and I'm learning even deeper more now that as healers like us and people who share and do this work with people, being vulnerable and really like putting aside that ego or that mask that we wear to try and be strong for others and be a good leader. It's also like offering our vulnerability because it also shows people how to engage with their vulnerability. Like sometimes we've been so misdirected to hide our pain and
Yes.
and so on that we it's I think just demonstrating how to process pain and even just have pain and demonstrate that in front of people. I think that's really powerful. And I I've been not doing videos and stuff because I've been feeling pain, but I'm learning more and more now that actually being showing that and displaying that it helps it process faster, and you get more insights than you probably could have gotten by yourself meditating through the pain.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you
I
shared
know.
that.
I'm
That
like,
hits
okay,
home.
the universe sent you to say that to me today.
Yeah, me too. I like at the end of the breathwork session this past Saturday, there was a moment where one of the women shared what came through to her during after or like during the session. And she, you know, was just so I love this person. It's Tanya Sam, by
Mm.
the way. And she chimed in and she was just like, we are not alone. We are not alone. We are all in this together. And I felt everyone's energy helping me and like holding space for me. And we're not alone. And as soon as I heard her words, I literally just started crying. And it's
Oh,
because it hit me so deeply. Like that was what I personally needed to hear. And not that I, you know, planned on being as emotionally vulnerable as I was at that moment, but I had to be. It just was very it was where I was authentically. And I think you're absolutely right. Like I got sent a few messages afterwards by people who were like, thank you for sharing that, like that side of yourself. You know what I mean? Um, and you're
yeah.
absolutely right. It's powerful. We need to do that for each other, even as people who are kind of holding the torch, so to speak, in holding spaces for people.
I think it's a next level of teaching and maturity even as a leader. And
Mhm.
I'm lucky. I feel lucky that I even know these things that I've come to this awareness because I feel inspired to do it and help and use my what I am appearing as weakness right now as a strength. And I think that's what I'm really learning is like there's no such thing as weakness
Mhm.
without strength. And it's okay to share it too, which has been hard too. Fear of rejection from your peers or judgment has
Yeah.
been is big, and we were also primed majorly on purpose to be extremely judgmental of one another, and also to actually hate ourselves. And we don't even sometimes people don't even know that we've been programmed to hate ourselves and to hate each other. And I think we're again learning that more now. But weirdly, I wasn't expecting so much hate to come of
Mhm.
the movements happening right now, but I think it's just misplaced. And I think they're slowly coming to a more cohesive like understanding of what their true feelings are stemming from. But it's taken some digging and some yelling and screaming and fighting that I've also been doing. So I can't judge anybody because I've been throwing fits like a child like the last couple of years. And it's shocking. It's shocking the crap out of me because I had no idea I even knew how to do that. And I think it's because I even didn't do it as a child when it was more appropriate. And just to be, that's who I am. I've always been that kind of person, just like hold space and be a healer and like be tough. And it was just like,
Yeah.
nope,
Yeah.
not anymore. Like, not anymore. I get to like have a temper tantrum. And my husband's just so sweet and he's just the best for it. And he just like, I don't know what it is. That healing I received from that man, I'm so grateful. Like, our partners are such a huge part of this too.
Wow, absolutely. I also feel like because there is so much pain and suffering going through the collective right now, I know this for myself. There was this reluctance for me to share my pain with others because I didn't want to dump more on them, you
Yeah.
know? And like I didn't want
Like
to
feeling the
add
fire.
more. Yeah, like I didn't want to add more darkness to anybody else's already dark life, you know? But I had a friend tell me very, very like, I mean, all five of us, or all five of the girls that attended this trip this past weekend, they were like, please reach out for support. This is what we're here for. And, we want to be here for you. We want to be able to, hold space for you too and hold your hand through this. And that's what this friendship is about. And I had to hear that. Like, I had to hear those words and receive it wholeheartedly and 100% fully, because I realized in that moment, as I heard those words coming at me, that I hadn't really felt okay about, leaning on other people for support. And I think that's it's such a necessary thing, especially right now too. It's part of the whole surrender, reaching out and asking for support.
And
Right.
also subconsciously validating your experience, like
Yeah.
the second we decide to hold that in, which I am like the worst about, I do it constantly. But the second that we do that, like as you were talking, all I could think about was like, yeah. And then our subconscious latches onto that and says, hide this. Like
Right.
we're just reconditioning our subconscious to like keep pushing back on that when like the reality is we have to acknowledge it if we're going to let it go.
Right.
Speaking of
It
which,
helps.
yeah, speaking of which, you're also a tarot reader, which has that, like, tell us about how you got into tarot, but also how that has really sort of affected your experience over this past year and sort of what you're seeing with people who are coming to you for readings.
Yes, I'm seeing I love the patterns that I see in the readings I do. And it's day by day even. And I'll get a cluster of people feel called to reach out to me and donate for a reading. And I'll see very common themes through those people. And it even offers me the ability to share and like amplify the healing and the message that's coming through because it's repeating and it's making itself more known and complex. So it's nice to have multiple readings in a day because it actually helps me be a better reader and be a better healer for others, which is
Mhm.
super cool. And I got into it because my mom bought me the tarot deck basically, and I I felt really drawn to it all of a sudden when I learned about how things work on a quantum level and how using this tool, this deck of archetypes and lessons and information, and using it as a quantum tool where I ask source, the purest energy of the whole universe, what what is it that this person needs to know for their highest and best timeline, for their very, like, what is the most use to them right now. And I allow that to put me on a randomized timeline, basically. And whatever card falls out, I trust that that's the one that we're supposed to talk about. And it's just cool because you don't know what's going to come, and then the message comes. And I've learned and I've worked and I've studied these cards and what they mean, and I have relatable stories even for some of them, because I've used tarot to lead my life so closely, especially in times of very deep distress where my mind was just complete mush. And it was so nice to have this outside perspective, but also inside perspective, like right from the source, about what I should do. And it gave me an opportunity to stop spiraling and think about something from a different perspective, finally get some other answer, or validate something that I had been feeling so deeply, so instinctually, but I couldn't put to words yet because I hadn't quite connected my intuitive abilities. So it's been a really good tool to help me talk to myself, learn about the cues that I'm already getting from my body. And it's made me a better psychic. And my mother has psychic abilities in a way where she can just basically hold someone's hand, and or even see them from across the room and get visions in her mind, and know things about them. Or in even people who are beyond the veil, people who've passed on, she's been able to do that. And I've always admired her. And then I also knew that I had that ability too within me somewhere, and I wanted it. And so I pursued it. And I do the same thing with the Schumann resonance. I use it to train my sensitivity, my ability to sense. And I don't even need to look at the charts anymore. More so now I go, I'm feeling it. And then I look at my phone and I check, and I'm right or I'm not right. And then I'm like, oh, what was that? And I'm like, oh, something else happened, and I'm still learning, but sometimes I get it and I'm like, okay, cool. And then I make a blog post and I share it to thousands of people. And that makes me feel really good about my abilities. Like I feel like I've been able to amplify, I've been able to have an overflowing cup with my intuitive abilities. And that's why I do it as a way to sustain myself in the 3D realm. I just basically dip my toe in, and it's all by donation. I've made that pathway so open. Like anything you want to give, I will still help you, because I feel like no matter what, that energy is going to come back to me in some way. If I'm helping you, somewhere in the universe, I'm going to get helped. Like it builds the faith.
Wow.
So rad. Have you been able, I mean, I'm like, I can't even imagine how this would manifest or what it would look like, but have you been able to connect your tarot practice with the Schumann resonance? And
Yes.
Okay. What does that look like?
I'm so fascinated about this.
Well, usually when the Schumann resonance is going off, I like to do a reading, and either from source, or I'll also ask from our planet and be like, what is this? What happened to you? Like, what was this experience you had? What does it mean for us as humans? And I will use that question basically, and I'll get answers. And I just play with the idea. I don't hold it like this is the answer and like freak out about it, but it's a cool practice, and it gives me some more insights on what themes I could look for the day, and in the news or in my home life and so on. And it usually it lines up, and it just makes me more conscious of that particular theme. And or I'll do it from the sun. Like if the sun does a flare, like we had an M class flare on May 29th. And it was the first big flare we've had in quite a while, because we are in a solar minimum, but we're about to go. That flare was like the kickstart of going back towards solar maximum, which will happen in 11 years from now. So I like talking about the sun and talking to the sun. And I honestly feel like I have a good intuitive psychic connection with the planet and the sun, because I've been doing this work for some time, and I feel there is a life force, there is an energy, there's a being there. And the Russians have even told me it's true. Like Russian people will message me, be like, you're on point, like we're actually learning about this in lectures here in Russia and so on. So I know it's real. And so using tarot to talk to them is kind of fun, but I don't need it all the time. Like sometimes I'll just get a message from the sun or the planet, and I'll blog about it or whatever, or I'll keep it to myself because sometimes saying the planet talk to me is a little weird.
I totally believe it though. I mean, absolutely. It makes logical sense with everything else that we know. I'm also curious like how all this stuff relates to, I know we're in this eclipse kind of gateway and we're about to have a full
Yeah.
moon, another lunar eclipse that kind of ends that. And I'm curious like how that relates to the Schumann resonance and what we've been talking about.
The moon, I notice, will have an effect on our ionosphere. And when it's full and so on, I notice there's usually like there's activity. Oftentimes, like I often remember making posts where I'm also talking about the new moon or the full moon as I'm talking about a blast. It's very common to write
Oh,
that
wow.
type of blog post. They tend to all kind of line up. So when there's these alignments and so on, there is just more of energy, I feel like, channeling towards our planet at that time because that's what the moon kind of does. And the moon is a very complex topic in itself. And the moon topic has been poking me like crazy this year. It's just like get to the deeper layers. Like there's more. And I'm like, I'm working on it. I'm getting there. But with the eclipses, and eclipses are particularly powerful is one thing I've noticed. And they're their own breed of thing. And whenever there's an eclipse, I've noticed that instantly, like more than any other type of thing that goes on astrologically or whatever, eclipses, what I've noticed, to give people the most potential to completely jump to another reality. And they'll notice like life is not the same, not at all. And it's never going to be the same again. And it could be even, you'll notice small things like your mom all of a sudden is a totally different person and she's behaving more in unison with your belief system or something. She's more heart-based. Or you just literally drove to a new state and you're not leaving. Or somebody dies in your family really close to you. We've been getting a lot of death themes. I've been getting a lot of like death constantly. But death's not bad. It's just a huge sign that there's major changes going on. People are no longer in this timeline. They're done. They didn't come with.
Yeah. I also,
And
sorry to interrupt.
oh, it's cool.
In that video where Amy was channeling, she actually talked about that too. The Pleiadians did, I think. And they were talking about how there were a lot of souls who, this actually was kind of cool because I had really never thought about it this way. And this is very like esoteric, so take from this what you will. But they were saying that a lot of souls wanted to be here for this next phase of the ascension of humanity. And they knew that like their current bodies weren't going to be able to last long enough. So they actually decided to depart, but then very quickly came back in a new soul, not only so that they could be here for a longer period of time through this process, but also because everyone's DNA is changing right now. So children who are being born right now have more capacity to access this just naturally than maybe say we do, who although we have the ability to do that, and many people already have, we're like still very much in the process of, learning these gifts. So I was like, holy shit, that's actually the coolest thing I've heard in a long time, because it makes so much sense and it's just filled with opportunity.
It is. I literally got chills when you said that. And just to share a little tiny snippet of my personal life, like I had gotten an Akashic reading a while back, and they had mentioned the fact that like there is a child in my future. I have no idea when he or she's going to come, and it's most likely going to be a he, but that he will be quite evolved is all I kind of received. And
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I know, me either, right?
It makes so much sense, Sam, as you're talking about this. It literally, like, my mind flashed back to that reading, and everything I've learned in the past week. Also, I went through a miscarriage earlier this year, and there's like kind of a reason why that's happening in relationship to some of my other life events. But man, this, like the most recent reading I had on Friday, literally there was a vision of me, my husband, and a child walking. And I don't know.
Wow.
I'm literally getting chills as I'm thinking about this, because everything you said just feels spot on.
Yeah. It's so
Yes,
crazy.
I'm not surprised that you're saying this, because I honestly, almost every interview and almost every person I meet tells me something like that. And the children are very strongly like, I am also working with the children. I'm wearing the shirt right now. I'm made about free the children. It's pretty funny. But like these kids, they are so funny, and they come in, and there's so many of us who are kind of holding space for them already, and they visit us, and they hop around, and they're very known, and you're like, when are they going to actually be here? And then it's a very interesting experience, and some people actually give birth to them. My friend just gave birth, and then the child decided like it was done after 9 days, and now is very much right next to her, but in another, another density, another vibration
Form,
you just can't quite get to. But it's she's having a whole crazy experience, and I admire her greatly for her strength and her spiritual like core to know that this is a big theme of what's going on, and these kids are a major part of like how we are going to be able to evolve too. And it's exciting, so I'm really, congratulations also on, and I look forward to hearing more about this child, however they come and see you and work with you more.
I would love to know, sort of through this whole process, and especially this year, like what is the biggest piece of wisdom that you feel like you've taken away from the whole experience?
I think expectations are a huge thing that's getting purged right now. And expectations has been one of the major reasons why I've had any type of emotional imbalance, it feels like. And we hold each other to expectations, and we hold ourselves. And it's just like all of these chains that we have put around ourselves. And that's why kids are great, because most part they don't have expectations. And you can't disappoint them as easily, but then quickly they begin to develop that. So it's like, I don't even know at what point in our development we have to like evolve past creating expectations, because I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to release that from my programming the deepest. And it happens every day, like a new expectation of what I'm expecting my life and my marriage and my dog or whatever, my look or my channel or my business or my whatever relationship with your family. It's crazy the amount of expectations that I've held for myself that I've just never questioned, and they're causing me pain. And I'm falling away. I'm not able to meet them. And I feel like I'm not been able to meet them for a reason. And I think it's because I need to let go, like you're saying. Like you just gotta finally let go. And that's the prison where I think we're holding all of ourselves in and each other. And it's so deep, and it's gonna take some time for sure, I think, to heal it. But it could be faster than we know.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. I mean, as you were talking, it's like I have this little dance that I do with the devil on my shoulder every time I get into like one of those spirals. And it's like the question that always pops into my head is like, okay, if this were going to be my last day, would I have spent it doing everything that I want to do? And then it's almost like my rational mind jumps in, is like, fuck no, like get your ass off the couch and like like I don't care if it's 120 degrees out in the desert, like go out in nature. And it's like but then it's almost like this very much deeper knowing of sort of like the more I surrender to it, the more this sort of like deeper understanding of you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing in this moment, because
Yes.
you're part of such like something much bigger than you, that like gives me a little bit of peace. But it's really only recently that I've come into that. And like that little devil on my shoulder is like chirping in my ear at least once a day when I'm like, fuck, I'm so tired, I have to sit down. Or I'm like, oh my God, my body hurts. But it's true, because those expectations, it's like, okay, I had this whole list of things I was going to do today, and I got derailed from all of them for whatever reason. The universe like threw these blocks in my way.
Yep.
But that's it. Like, okay, this is the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Get uncomfortable in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yes, I think I recently had someone just be like, I'm channeling a message for you, and it's okay to just be. And I was like, thanks. Wow, the most pure wisdom. I guess I'm just gonna sit here on the couch then. Okay. And I gave up. It was good.
Yeah.
It's hard. You get inspired. I'm a fiery person. I'm inspired. I have a list like yourself. You're like, I got a list. There's stuff to do. I'm ready. I'm doing it. And it just doesn't happen. And you're just like, why did I even have a list? Like, why did I even get inspired to do these things if it wasn't going to happen? And just because you had to trigger yourself, I guess. That's all I'm on the path. I'm
That's
still
a good
learning.
point. We're like
Yeah.
subconsciously triggering ourselves to reprogram.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so deep. This stuff is so cool.
It is so cool. I feel like also though, if you get those spurts of inspiration, this is how I'm processing it myself right now. It's almost like it may not necessarily be a full green light at this moment, but perhaps it's just that spark of inspiration that you almost have to keep on the back burner. And it may not be the timing right now, but eventually it will come there, or eventually it's because I feel like these things happen for a reason, and it's not because, they're meant to be thrown away necessarily or disregarded. But I do think that they're like, I started the quarantine thinking I was going to be making this one product, and like clearly it's not happening. And like I had to really get right with it, and understand why it's not happening. And there was a lot of frustration, like, why do I feel like this path in front of me is so blurry now, And I started realizing, okay, this is not meant to be right now. There's something else I think that I'm being pulled to. Like I actually think that I'm being pulled to develop my breathwork practice a little bit deeper and offer my service in this particular form, in this manifestation of this greater purpose right now. But
Right.
this was never my intention ever to begin with. But for some reason, it's happening now. And so I'm like, okay, I think I just need to follow this and not get rid of the other thing totally, but maybe that's just like, kind of on hold for now until it's almost like this new puzzle piece just revealed itself. It's like, okay, follow this puzzle piece first, and then maybe eventually it'll tie together. But
The universe was like, those earthlings, they're not breathing very good.
yeah.
Somebody call in the breathing people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's spiked. It's like, I see breathwork being offered everywhere now, which is like amazing to me, So it's cool. It's cool.
I'm glad you're doing it.
With the lessons that you feel like you're learning right now, what do you think, what would be your biggest piece of advice to people like us who are sort of, feeling this really deeply and going through this and trying to surrender?
Well, honestly, it sounds like you guys have a lot of really like healthy practices for like breathing and relaxing and being very conscious of the push and pull. Like I'm having the same deal. And maybe you won't be expecting me to say this, but what's coming into my right into my crown and right into my third eye right now is plant medicine.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, all right, we're going to go to plant medicine. But yeah, plant medicine is major in my life, and the people I've, been vibing with the most, they've been practicing and becoming more conscious participants with the wisdom of plants and ingesting them and experiencing their psychedelic effects and allowing that medicine to heal them and rewire their brains and reach deeper levels of intimacy with themselves and with the surroundings and with the plant kingdom and those honestly the like more natural vibrations around us versus computers and houses. Like if you're engaged with plant energy, you are going to relate and feel more amongst the plants and even amongst the minerals and these areas that aren't having as much emotional, crazy nonsense, mental breakdowns, areas that are pretty much vibing, and they are in communion with their environment for the most part. And they seem to be making it look incredibly easy. So,
Oh my God.
I,
It's so insane that you just said that because, okay, you guys know last Thursday when we had that huge spike.
yep.
I had a session with Drea on Wednesday where on Tuesday we had a huge spike too. And I was getting the most massive migraine when you guys should have seen me on this like video phone call with her. And I was like trying to hold the phone up, but I like couldn't move my head because my migraine was kicking in and I didn't want to take pain meds before I like had my session with Drea, and she helped me clear it. But then on Thursday, she was like, "How are you feeling?" I was like, "God, I just have this like weird feeling. Like I can't put my finger on it, but like something's up." And she was like, "Something really big is going to happen." And by the way, none of this was planned. My friend Naz then came in to town to stay with me for a couple nights that day, and we had planned on doing psychedelics and eating mushrooms, but I thought we were going to do it on Friday, and she wanted to do it Thursday night. And it just so happened to be that we were like in the middle of this trip while this like huge download happened on Thursday, and it was like nothing I have ever experienced. I was like in a complete world of bliss. I was like the trees and the wind were hugging me. Like it was the most
I love
Wow.
it.
peace I felt going through one of those spikes since this whole thing
Yeah.
started. And I'm just like, I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with everything. It was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so
It
coincidental. Like I had not planned that at all.
That's
Oh, it's
definitely
the
not
best
a
way.
coincidence.
Yeah, this is true.
I know that plant medicine has been very much in my life also since last year. Like, and I had experienced it before, but last year is when it became very spiritual for me. And
Oh,
yeah, I think this year I like stocked up, and I had a trip over at the quarantine, and I feel like this is definitely something that I need to explore a little bit more. I was actually supposed to go to Boulder to learn to this like psychedelic sitter school this year, which I don't think is going to happen anymore. But I love that you said that, because I really do think that there is something there connecting us to
Mhm.
like earth energy specifically, especially with psilocybin. That is so necessary right now to help us ground, but also open up. But that's beautiful.
yes, and I'm glad that you brought up psilocybin, and because it was for sure a major part of my awakening as well, and of many of my friends. A lot, again, I would say a lot in the age range of like 30 and under right now. Like it seems to be making a huge insurgence in a lot of people. There's
Mm.
other medicines too. Obviously, cannabis has been a very overwhelming healing presence, I would say, in
Mhm.
North America. Like Canada just legalized it for the whole country, and in the United States, it's a little more complicated situation. But I think it's going to be eventually like with same with psilocybin as well. I think they're going to do it all maybe in one go, or like a few of them at once, especially the plants. And I think it's a major responsibility I feel to be welcoming and open to plant medicine into your life. If it's for the highest and best good of your timeline and for the easing of your healing and transcendence and so on,
Yeah.
I definitely would call it in and not be afraid. And if you're likely going to call, just have to consent to it, and then someone's going to arrive at your house that you trust and you love, and there you're going to have a beautiful moment or something like that. And it's such a magical correspondence too. Like you call it in, and then all of a sudden it's there right when you need it, and
Mm.
it feels good. It feels right. It feels like there's a greater intelligence and an interaction with these medicines. And honestly, there is a huge cosmic connection, in my opinion, with mushrooms, because they're here, and same with cannabis. But I know, and I heard about their origins are not from this planet originally, and it
Oh,
also allows
wow.
us to open up and expand to a cosmic consciousness. And people have those experiences all the time using plant medicine. They're like, wow, I feel so ingrained with the plants here, but I also feel the stars. I feel the planets. I feel the
Yes.
beings. I feel life everywhere. And it's such an incredible experience.
That was one of my recent trips. I was sitting out in Idlewild and I literally was staring up at the stars and talking to them, and they felt like family. They felt like they were my brothers and sisters, you know? And at that moment, I missed them so much. And I was like, gosh, I just want to be with you right now, you know? But you're
Wow.
totally right. It was very much like, I think at that moment, I'm like, okay, there's something more to my soul than what I know it to be right now. And I have no idea what that is yet, but I'm so down to investigate
Yeah.
and learn more, you know, through these
Yep.
trips and through other healing modalities and stuff. But yeah, it was like it brought tears to my eyes because I was like, wow, this is my family. I
Oh,
know I'm as big and as limitless
yes.
and you know, boundless as you guys up there. You know what I mean? It was really powerful.
And much needed. If you could feel that way from a little kid, wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
Imagine what these children are going to be able to do. Like, this is going to be so powerful.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Oh, wow. Well, this is so much to take in. I just want to, like, I could talk about this for hours, but
Seriously.
how can people reach you if they would like to learn more or schedule an interview, or I'm sorry, schedule a reading?
I do interviews too. Those are great.
Yeah. Those also, you're phenomenal at this. Like, oh God, this has been such a gift.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. And I would like to share where people can reach me if they feel so guided. My most open platform is Instagram for sure. I've taken to that. And that would be Ascension Diaries, all one word. You'll find me there. And you feel free to message me and follow me there. If you're not an Instagram person, I have a website shared with my husband. It's called divinesovereignbeings.com. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is Ascension Diaries. I have a Facebook, which is Ascension Diaries. I've really branched out into the social media area. And I also have a Patreon, which you can have a monthly reading. I will always do your reading every month and send it to you. I do a group reading in a video for my patrons. And that has literally been my lifeblood, to keep me able and capable in the 3D reality, like the money world. That's been a huge lifesaver. And if anyone ever feels guided to support me in my blog, that would be a really helpful place. And you'll get gifts in return as well. So, and you can book readings on my website, or whenever I'm offering them through Instagram, you can message me anytime. Like, just feel free to reach out to me. Doesn't matter where or when, I'm always there.
Amazing. I'm heading to your Patreon now.
I know.
That's awesome.
This has been such an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for sharing all of this stuff with us, because I can't even tell you, like, what a gift it's been to learn these things and to be able to have these conversations. Also, because I've just been obsessed with quantum physics for like the last 2 years. So this is every new discovery for me is super exciting.
Well, thank you very much for having me and having me on your show, trusting me in your space, and sharing me with the people you care about and what I'm saying, because it means a lot, and I don't take it lightly. And I would absolutely love to continue this conversation, talk more about this. I love doing interviews and sharing this space. I think the networking of this information is incredibly important.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
More
This is not going to be the only episode for sure.
We're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially as things
I'm
develop.
here.
Thank
cool.
you so much. This is incredible. Yeah. I'm going to be like meditating on this for the next month or so and onward. It's awesome.
It's been an honor to meet with you both. I can feel your, I would say your awesomeness and your strength, and like what you're holding, what the space that you're holding, and what you're obviously doing for the world. And I'm just honored to have connect with you on this and hear your voices at least. And now we know each other on Instagram, and we'll grow a relationship. So it's awesome. I appreciate this a lot.
Music for Woo New is composed by Adam Miller.